Hello, everyone.
Evening, how are we doing?
How's it going?
Oh, back again for another review and preview. Good to see you guys in chat. I saw Colm was first. Evening, Colm.
How
How was your game week, Luke? How'd you get on?
I did all right this week. Not bad. Wish I'd had Viduka captain, like many people, I think. But not too bad. I got a few clean sheets here about. Basically, that's the main reason I did okay. As usual, midfield did pretty much nothing. Actually, Stephen McPhail got a goal, so he kind of bailed me out. But everyone else was pretty dreadful. It was the Middlesbrough boys really. That clean sheet for Middlesbrough plus like Fester assist, which I didn't have, but a lot of people had. And
The Fester and Gordon.
Yeah,
amazing.
Just brought the average right up, I think. With obviously the main two strikers scoring as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of highly owned players that did score. I got Veron captain in my zombies, which is a nightmare. My tip for Kuehl is one of the first tips that's backfired, and people are slating me for that. So.
Oh yeah, the mystery man. He's like, he didn't play last week, is that right? Didn't play last week and then did nothing in this game.
Did absolutely nothing. I thought he'd do well as well, like against that keeper. Any stats on that at all? Or?
We're certainly going to look at him and see how he managed his stunning 4. Right, I suppose we better get into it. People want to know the double game weeks. They want to know
exactly. That's what they're all here for.
Exactly. And the major injury news that we've all got to wrap our heads around.
And there is some big news.
Right, on to Villa Charlton then, I suppose. I don't think many people had many players here, so I don't think we should spend much time here. But as you can see from the stats, Villa looked like they probably should have won it. Double the shots on target at home. They had more of the ball. And Dion Dublin probably should have done better. I've been backing him recently, did nothing unfortunately. But Jason Ewell, the other probably only person anyone really owns apart from bench options maybe. But I suppose Wilcox with a 5. There's not really anything else.
Yeah, I think quite a few have got Charlton as bench options because they're quite cheap. So people like Klaus Jensen might have come in for a few people.
That's true.
Apart from that, Jason Ewell, he keeps ticking along. Jason Ewell, I quite like him still.
Yeah. He's on course for that 10 to 15 goals. So yeah, should be okay. He's more like a targeted one, I think. I don't think you're really going to leave him in. They got dominated aerially here by Melberg and Barry, but that nearly always happens when a striker plays away from home. The home centre backs turn into gods. I don't know why that is, but it seems to be a thing.
Yeah, the biggest surprise for Villa all season has been Alpay, because in my Sims and stuff, he was like the man who always started.
Yeah,
and played a lot of games.
And see, he's actually started to be playing well now, which he wasn't at the very start. So really, they should be bringing him in, I suppose. But they've switched to that 4-4-2. Barry's got a higher rep than all of them, I think, so he's always going to play. So it's just a straight fight out between him and Alpay, and it looks like Melberg's winning.
Fair enough.
Unluckily, Dean Kiley, did he actually get any save points this week?
He would have got 1, would he?
The man. I still haven't had him all season. You're going to have to get
still,
him on wildcard, I think.
Still top of the goalkeeper stats, I think.
Yeah, it's incredible. I'd have never thought that at the beginning of the season.
Right.
On to Bolton and Blackburn. Again, I don't think many people have many of these players, Henrik Pedersen being the obvious one. Really expected Bolton to score in this one. I had them down for between 1 and 2 goals in my Sims, and obviously did not happen. When we look at the stats, it looks like they were a little bit unlucky. Probably should have scored 1. They had 50-50 of the ball, but I think really what happened here is the midfielders, especially if you look at Blackburn, they all played really, really well. And I think Blackburn's system of having 3 DMs, actually, this is the one time this formation's actually works pretty well.
Exactly, it came good after like 20 games the final.
Yeah. Because if you see the way that Bolton obviously set up with his 3-5-2, there's a lot of presence just outside the D, and obviously Blackburn are perfectly set up to counter that. So I think it just worked for them in this game. That's what they've been holding out for. Souness has been doing this masterclass just for this game the whole season. But yeah, not really too much else to say. Janssen didn't do that well in the air, as you wouldn't expect, and that's about it really. Can't think of anything else. Weatherall's looking like a good option still.
Yeah, the Grabby coming on at 88th minute killed a couple. I know that.
Oh really?
We had a decent first bench, and he came on and got the 1 point. I think I can't remember his name, but I know someone was really gutted with that.
Yeah, that's annoying. That's the problem
So
about owning the Blackburn strikers, though.
Yeah, play one and then one comes on. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Even Janssen's a great pick. That's the horrible thing about it.
He really is. Sometimes Souness gets sacked early on in the season in Sims, and that's really good for Blackburn usually, because then they start doing all sorts of wonderful things with 2 strikers, and obviously they've got some good players. And Colin Cooper's a bit of a beast still. He's got his 8. He's just consistently doing well for average rating. I still think he's a pretty good shout.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Graham S in the chat saying Blackburn up to 6th now on the table. So
there you go. So it's working.
Going well. Yeah, going well.
Everton Arsenal again. I had this one. This is probably the other letdown from my Sims of the weekend. I thought Arsenal would get at least 1, possibly 2, but I mean this probably says it all here. Steve Simpson with the 9, who's been terrible most of the season, getting 3s and stuff, but he's basically pulled out the super keeper here, the old dreaded CM super keeper. 11
Brilliant.
shots, 6 on target, and it looks like he's obviously saved them all. Arsenal weren't too bad. I mean, Thierry Henry never does that well in the air, to be fair, and especially away. But he had 4 shots, 3 on target. Obviously, a bit unlucky not to score.
Yeah, people are gutted with that. I mean, Simonson's just had one of those days. It's going to get once a season, isn't
it? Yeah, and it's more often a 3 with him. But Everton just keep getting his clean sheets. I think James Lapron on the stream last Sunday or whatever was saying how they're like Ipswich light. And I was quite dismissive of him, saying, "Oh yeah, don't worry about that. We're all about Ipswich for the bonus." But if Everton keep keeping the clean sheets, and obviously Weir and Stubbs can still get bonus, yeah, maybe I was a bit too harsh on them because they just don't go away at the moment.
No, they don't at all. You're right. I mean, obviously it's got a Scottish bias from James as well, but
of course, yeah, we can allow him that. So yeah, wasn't too much to report there, to be honest. And I don't think many people own them. Henry's still obviously looking good now for the blank and then a double, so I think people will still be looking there, even though he's been giving mostly pain.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was happy yesterday with a quiet second half. I mean, there's a lot holding on to clean sheets from Arsenal and United and stuff. There's no goals going in. I think that suited quite a few players.
Yeah, definitely. I had Seaman, so that was good. Yeah, this is another one where I thought Fulham would score. I mean, you back Fulham to score at home virtually in any game. Doesn't really matter who they play. You'd expect them to get 1. Again, if we look at the stats here, I think Fulham probably edged the game. 3 on target for Liverpool, 2 goals, 11 and 5. Fulham had more of the play as well. So I think on another day they could have won that, or at least got a goal. And Dudek he played an 8, so that obviously helped their cause.
This kind of man of the match. What made him get man of the match? That's what I was interested in yesterday.
Yeah, well, first of all, no one else played above an 8, so it's easier to get man of the match if you come on as a sub and no one's got that. But here you've got 4 tackles, 4-1, 2 key, 3 headers, 2-1, 2 key. So he's got 4 key contributions in, 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He also had, if you go to runs here, so that's dribbles past opponents, which work for the average ratings as well. He's got 3, so more than any of his teammates. So basically had a 1 to 30 minutes of heading, tackling and running past people, so fair enough, I guess. I think that says more about everyone else that played in this game than it does about him up until that point.
Yeah.
Boa Morte, again, pretty dreadful up front. 11 passes completed. I think he had 4 last week completed. 11 this week. No headers, no shots, nothing.
He's completely gone off the boil, really has. I think there's better options now.
Yeah, attacking direct and just couldn't score. Yeah, because people will be looking at him for the blank, I would have thought.
Mm-hmm.
Right, let's move on. Where are we? Ipswich and Leicester. This was an annoying one because a lot of people have got Taggart on the bench this week. A lot of people, and why wouldn't you, to be fair? And man of the match and the goal. I mean, he's been great for bonus most of the season at home. But yeah, I mean, that was a bit of a shocker, I think, for him to get that. And Dennis Wise again, I think it came from a corner if I remember rightly. I remember reading the match report. I mean, we can have a look here, can't we? But Dennis Wise, I've been saying it all season, his corners are just unbelievable. Yeah, look, Wise looked to send a hanging ball in from the corner. Taggart won the ball in the air and slammed it in. He's got the best corners in the world, or he's just hitting the lottery.
So he's just like drifting it in rather than pinging it in. He's just drifting it in and hoping someone's get one of the big guys muscles into it. Jump someone.
Exactly. Yeah. I think out of these 9 assists, I'll be interested to know how many are corners. In fact, if we go to the corners afterwards for the teams, I think they scored from about 6 or 7, so probably the majority of them. What else was there to talk about? Armstrong tried to hustle and bustle up top again. He was given the nod up front. Played an 8, but didn't really work out. I mean, to get an 8 and he didn't really win that many headers or get any shots on target, I suppose that's a pretty good sign if he does actually get points.
Yeah. Would you expect Marcus Stewart to come back in anytime soon or not? Would they stay with Alan Armstrong?
I would have thought Marcus Stewart will come back in because he's generally preferred, but he's been injured for quite a while, and then obviously their ratings dip a little bit when they get injured, and it's only when they start playing they rise again. So we'll have to see whether he maybe plays in the cup or whatnot, and then they might start picking him again, I guess. And Clapham again with the assists.
Clapham's can join the Holy Trinity. He's the 4th member now.
Yeah, and he's on penalties, we think, because he took the last one for them. I mean, nothing's confirmed in this game because they seem to switch around penalties at whim, but Clapham certainly took the last one, and he's actually got more assists than Tarico, which I didn't see coming.
No, Tarico's been. You'd expect Tarico to double that assist, really. Well, was he on one assist?
He's on 2 assists.
2 assists,
yeah. I've seen him get double figures for assists quite a lot. So they're either all coming or it's not his sim.
How many Ipswich defenders do you own?
I've only had one all season, and that's Tarico. I've missed out on Hariderson's points the whole season. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. I just never had that opportunity. I mean, I could have got 2 at some point, I suppose, but I had loads of injuries and reds, and I thought I'm never going to be in a position to just do that vanity move of Tarico to Hariderson, so because their games were going to run out, and obviously now their better games seem to have gone a little bit, but still isn't stopping Hariderson at the moment, really. And Scowcroft came back in, who did pretty well. He always seems to do pretty well for headers. I think it's because he runs onto the ball and they sort of target him a little bit more. And if he was acting by, he had been doing well. So
yeah, fair result there. That 1-1.
Yeah. It looks like there probably could have been more goals here, but looks like it was a fair result. Man U derby. I mean, 11 shots on target, 14. I think nearly every time we've now had Man United at home to like a Rep 12 side, it's been 3-0 or it's either been 3-0 or 3-1. Even against like Everton, Southampton, all of them, you can pretty much just write it down before the game kicked off that it will probably be around that. I mean, the Sims suggested this was going to be a 3-0 to Man United, and again, it just sort of, I think it's because Man United, once they go 2 or 3-0 up, they just take the handbrake up. They put the
just absolutely coasting, and also like the away team are just happy to let it be 3-0 and not take a battering.
They don't even try to change it, I don't think. So even when they're 3-0 down, I don't really think they go attacking. At most, they go normal. So it's just pretty much no chance to score. And yeah, apart from Poom with his 6 key tackles there and savings, it could have been a few more, I guess.
Pete Squires in the chat saying, Luke, do you prefer Shearer or Tarico? Who do you love more?
Shearer or Tarico? I like Shearer more. I have to. Sorry.
Okay.
He should have been 12 million. He should have banged like 30 goals, but
he shouldn't. He's so injured. 10 million is absolute fair price. You can't rely on him.
But you can rely on Fowler for 10.5.
Move on.
That's what I thought. Yeah, nothing really else to put there. Veron dominated. He dominates all the stats all the time, but only got an 8. I mean, he got 3 key headers here, 3 key passes, but he didn't score or assist. I think he probably should have got a 9 with those stats, but the game wasn't having it. Said no. And he continues to let down because now we obviously know he's not even playing this week. So people who've held him for this run have been harshly punished, I think.
Horrendous. He's my zombie captain as well, so I'm not enjoying it.
Well, didn't you have Viduka zombie captain before, so you lost out on him, did you?
I did, and then we had the draft pick with Clem, James and Dave. I was number 3 and Viduka got picked second by Dave. And I was gutted, yeah, so I've missed out. We shouldn't have done a second half draft. We should have just carried on.
Yeah, you'd have probably won just off that pick alone, I think.
Yeah, exactly, I know.
Middlesbrough West Ham 3-0. Middlesbrough, I mean, it's pretty clear, really. Maybe could have conceded 1, maybe, but 2-3-0 looked about right. And Hamilton Rickard is like you said it before, it's a Rickard sim. It certainly appears so. I mean, he's only scored 6 goals for the season, but I think the majority of his goals have come in like the last sort of, I don't know, 5-6 game weeks, have they? He's been pretty good for the last 5-6 weeks.
I'd expect that to get 15 now, really. If he's nailed down his place, looking good. 15 goals. Well.
Yeah, he's doing well. How much is he? He's 6 million, I think. I've just never considered
Six and a half. Yeah, 6.5.
and just won't go away. Ekyog again with the 8. I think he's got, yeah, that was an 8 before here. It's just a constant string of them.
Just a great defence, really.
Yeah.
As well.
See,
And as you say, this it's just worked out in their favour with the positions of everyone. So
exactly. Gordon came back in. He was obviously dropped last game, but back in with an assist. And West Ham, as usual, just shocking.
Yeah. Luke Porteous saying happy Gordon got double-digit return, which is very pleasing.
Yeah.
Everyone loves a Gordon double-digit return.
I'd be pretty annoyed if I was a box seat showing this, to be honest, because you probably held him for a couple of rough patches where he wasn't sure to play and a few iffy games, and then this is probably what you were holding him for, the money shot, and he obviously got that assist fairly early, I think, and then got subbed off. It was hat-trick potential for Boxic this week, but what can you do? And this was the game that made me change my comfortable Heskey pick, which had an assist, because you guys leaked the team sheet. I thought there's got to be a reason here. Shearer's got to go wild here. So I took Heskey out after weeks of hold. I think I've had him for 5 weeks and got not a single return. And then took him out and he gets an assist this week.
Love to see that, yeah. It's great.
And Shearer does nothing. Oh, God. But, yeah, if people didn't see, Newcastle absolutely battered Chelsea. I mean, they 3 shots and they scored 2 goals. I think Shay Given got subbed for good reason there. Obviously should have done better, and Newcastle unlucky not to win this more comfortably. Once Court and Shearer get together, they are a handful for everyone, I think. But to be fair, Chelsea's defence coped pretty well with them. Terry and Melchuk did alright at the back.
Yeah, they're good. They are good defenders. Terry's great. I mean, Terry's stats have already gone up already this season. So.
Yeah, absolutely beastie.
Which you should do. Terry's great. What do you think? I was going to mention something. What do you think of Kyle Court? Can he cover Shearer?
I don't know if he can cover Shearer, but he's probably the best picks for 7 million. I think now,
especially with the fixtures coming up as well.
Yeah, because you've obviously got him playing in the blank as long as he's selected. Then you've got the double as well. I can't really see him drop. I mean, he's not totally nailed, but from my experience, once he gets into the team, he might miss maybe 1 or 2 more max for the whole season. He generally gets that spot. So, plus also Shearer, I mean, might get injured again at some point.
Yeah, exactly. So you wouldn't expect Bellamy to come back in for Court?
I wouldn't have thought so.
It's Court and Shearer, yeah.
Yeah, if Bellamy comes back, he often ends up playing left wing. Where Speed's been doing really, really well of late, but obviously the game doesn't really care about that. I mean, I noticed here as well, Speed got 8 headers, 10 headers, 8-1, 3 key. Now I do wonder, because you don't generally win headers on the left wing, and I've shown it in other videos about how they switch players' positions. I wouldn't be surprised if Speed ended up either up front or in centre midfield at some point and they switched it around, because I don't really see how he's getting that many headers out on the wing unless Chelsea's entire tactic is to ping it out wide to the right to Carboni to try and win a header. I just don't understand what's going on there, but there you go. And Chettle, I mean, he's only just been signed and we kind of laughed and didn't think he'd play, but he's won 13 headers out of 14 here. But I guess it's because Chettle and Marcelino are up against Zola and Good Johnson, probably not the best two in the air.
Yeah. What is it about like the old defenders? Like, it seems like the old school defenders can get great average ratings. It's just a matter of stats of being higher than younger players.
I think it's because, well, the only stats that matter, and it's quite hard when you look at this because there's just a lot of noise, is the key stats to do with the defenders. They may as well be 1 in all the other areas. It doesn't make a difference. So because they're old, they've usually had time to build up to their potential, so therefore they've got pretty good key stats usually, and he's got a high reputation, so age actually counts in your favour to play games, and especially when they sign him, he's got like a little bump to his reputation, so they've started to play him. They might realise soon that, Dabizas has got better key stats or is a better player, and then suddenly switch it back round again. But even you can see with the keeper, they signed this Jimmy Walker and they started playing him against above Given. I mean, and now they switched it back to Given again, so I think they're going to be in a bit of a muddle for a while till they work out who they prefer. I wouldn't be surprised to see that switch back around next week, for example.
Yeah, because I know people want Newcastle assets. It's just a question of, do you go for Chettle as a risk, or
I mean, I think Marcelino is probably the safest one because even the fullbacks seem to switch around.
Yeah.
I don't really like him though as a pick. I don't think he really does much for bonus. It's annoying, really. Chettle would, I mean, the evidence so far, would probably be the better pick. But like we say, we don't know who's going to play. I really like Terry though. Still think.
Yeah, I love Terry. I mean, Tyler mentioned as well in the chat that about his consecutive 8 ratings. What is it, 6 in a row?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I've seen it consistently at 8. He's got a 6 here, so we already know what happens in the FA Cup, I suppose, unless it's a League Cup.
Little leak.
Yeah, little leak there. Unless they stuck him in the reserves. You never know. Right, let's move on, shall we? Southampton, Sunderland. Had this one down for a 2-2, and Southampton probably should have won the game. 11 shots on target to 5.
Oh.
I mean, Southampton, if they're not going to win games like this, then they're basically, I mean, they were done anyway, weren't they? But this is a game they needed to win.
They had to win, yeah. They're down pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got Arca in my zombies again, and I thought he was quite unlucky by the commentary. He didn't get the bar twice.
Yeah, is that what it said? Where's his shots? Yeah, he had 3 shots, yeah. Didn't seem to do much else. 20 passes. Usually for him, he always gets loads of runs past people with his flair and agility.
Yeah, surprising to see him on the 6, but I guess he maybe just missed the target, I guess, with his shots.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's got Swartz or anyone apart from Kevin Phillips, who again did pretty well, quite a few shots on target. Sibon scoring again. He's done pretty well since he's come here. 4 and 6. And no one's going to be buying any Southampton assets either.
No, stay off.
Yeah,
stay
I mean,
well
Svensson came on and scored. I mean, that would be annoying. I think some people might have had him, and because he was injured, I think he's still orange flagged. So he came on, and of course he scores a penalty when he comes on. So just as the last person got off Svensson, he comes up with a goal. Typical, because he has really trolled quite a few, I think. Right, we've got loads to get through. Should we get to the FA Cup then?
What about Spurs? You got Spurs Leeds.
Yeah.
The nightmare that is Shwan Jalal.
Oh mate, he did all right. He did okay. 9 shots on target, only conceded 3.
Yeah, I mean he picked up a couple of save points. So you'll take, if you went for him. I don't think he's priced, but picked up 3 points.
There's another spoiler for the next week there as well.
Absolutely atrocious.
Poor lad. Viduka tore him apart in 10 minutes. He'd be shitting himself after that. 7 shots on target for Viduka. It really could have been more. He could have got 3 or 4 goals in this game, I think. Even more. Robbie Keane, 2 assists. I noticed something of Keane here. Again with the runs. Keane was just taking the mick, running past people for fun. Obviously he's got the pace, acceleration, agility. He's got everything you really need. Dribbling's high, everything for running past people.
Yeah, great pick still.
Yeah, he's doing really good. So which side was he on? So yeah, against Bunjajevic, I think he is. Yeah,
just got the pace.
The pace to burn, and Selakovic is really annoying me. Starts the game up front. Not his best position, but obviously anyone who's playing up front, you're hopeful. And didn't win any headers as you'd expect. Not really his game, and didn't really contribute at all. He had 2 shots, 2 on target, but apart from that, did pretty much nothing.
Yeah, it's hard to go with that price range. You've got Selakovic doing nothing, Beaumorta doing nothing, Kuehl doing nothing. So do you go for Christian Besadas with the fixtures they got?
I mean, he's been playing a lot better.
I think you just still trust Selakovic?
I mean, I think I'm just going to trust Selakovic and just hope he gets penalties and hope he can actually score them, because he's missed 2 now, hasn't he? So it could be so different for him. But other than that, yeah, I mean, even Johnston's not returned for a while. So it's Basidas is about the only one in that bracket. I think, or you go down to Dennis Wise, who's just consistently doing well. But with the doubles, I don't think anyone's going to be looking at these players yet. They're going to be looking like Basidas and Selakovic, because the doubles for them potentially, although we don't know them yet.
Yeah, on to the FA Cup then, I reckon.
Let's do it.
So, let's have a look. I wonder if people can spot it when we go to the chat about the results. So, can you see anything that affects the doubles before we look at matches?
Let's just leave it. You watch the chat. You see if they notice anything.
Okay. It is on that page. You don't need to scroll down. It is on that page. We'll wait for the first person. I'll see who's... Pete Squire saying, is Berger a better shout? 7.5.
Is Berger 7.5? Yeah, I mean, he scored 6 goals in 8, I think it was last time we looked. I can't remember what it is now, but it's still close to that. He just has a knack for scoring goals.
Exactly. You're right. Adam France was the first. So the man in number 4th spot overall. Derby off. Derby Leeds is off. Derby have drawn, which means a double game week in 23. Derby against Leeds is off.
Annoying.
Because Derby got a replay.
Yeah. And this is the team Derby played, if anyone cares. Quite full strength pretty much across the board, I think, when we look at most of the teams here.
Dick Wellington saying, damn, Valakari in the bin. Christoph Sam saying, no Derby, no Leeds, damn.
Big decision on Viduka now because he's home to Villa in a single game, which is obviously great, but then there's a lot of other people who might have doubles. In fact, we may as well just show the other ones so everyone knows now. So what were the other games that could have affected a double?
So Liverpool... What was it actually? Hold on. Let's get the fixtures up. It was.
I'll go through them whilst you do it. Ipswich and Villa drew 1-1. I don't think that had any effect on it. Villa played,
no, that was the only other replay, wasn't it?
Villa played, I think, pretty much the same team they played in the league. But the big news out of the Villa game, you can see right here. Dion Dublin comes off injured. And he's actually out for a month with a calf strain, which is a big loss for Villa. Which means this man, Mr. Juan Pablo Angel, is almost certain to get his spot. So, lost one option, potentially gained another. Ipswich played one of the variations of their away formation. And Mr. Haridason didn't play. Tariko, I think, came on as a sub. And apart from that, the team was fairly standard from them. Newcastle beat Bolton. Newcastle, yeah, Bernard played left wing this time. Speed moved into the centre. Courtney Shearer. They didn't do anything though. Dyer got the goal. Basidas with an 8. And for Bolton, Henrik Pedersen had his customary shots and did okay, but obviously wasn't able to score. That's about the headline news from that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people want to know the fixtures like affecting game week 2023. So we go to it. What about the Liverpool result? Because that's at the bottom, I think.
Liverpool, where are we? Liverpool won 4-2 against Tranmere.
So their double's still on.
Fowler with a 10. They played Murphy up top. No Heskey, Littman or Owen to be seen. They left out Huncho and Hippier as well. Any other results anyone want to see on here? Sunderland 1-0 to Birmingham.
Arca man the match this time.
Yeah.
Damn it.
And this time, let's see. Oh yeah, 5 runs this time, so that's more like him. So he's just running past people for fun again. That's why he got that.
Tottenham. Have you done Tottenham? Because they're
okay. Yeah, let's look at Tottenham. Svensson got 2 goals, 3 goals in like I don't know, 100 minutes or whatever it is. It is Darlington, to be fair. Man United won 2-0 against Man City.
Played a strong team as well.
Yeah, that's basically their A team, isn't it? Because Beckham was injured at the time. So that was like their full team. I think Barthez was suspended for this game.
Looks like they treated the derby more than the upcoming game week in Blank 22.
Looks that way. Leeds, again, Viduka with a 10. Assist, goal. Hart didn't play. Kuehl didn't play. But, as you can see here, Mr. Bridges got injured. And he's out for 3 weeks with a twisted ankle.
Shame.
Yeah, he's a really good striker in this. Scores a lot of goals if he actually plays. Chelsea won 3-1. I'll just quickly show that for anyone who wants to see their team. Don't think that really affected anything. And where was the other one? Spurs, did you say? That's it?
Yeah, Spurs. I mean, so Leeds had the derby against... We're meant to have the double against Villa and Derby. So obviously, Derby drew. Arsenal. You've done Arsenal. They got the double against Southampton and Newcastle.
Yeah. And in this game, Charlton absolutely battered Tottenham, apparently, even though the shots weren't that different. But Jason Ewell with the hat-trick. Still only got a 9 with his hat-trick, probably because Jalal threw the ball to his own net 3 times. Is all I can think
Jalal again. Look at that sub. He got subbed. Did he get subbed off?
He got subbed off for Kelly, and then he played a 5. Honestly, it's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, if they're still in this situation for their next game, whoever they're playing against, you just got to bat them for goals.
Yeah, I mean, luckily they got not playing 22, but
no, I mean they could have signed someone by then, to be fair, but if not, it looks like they're in trouble. Jensen had a bit of a worldy performance, assist, goal, won everything in the middle of the park. He's having a great sim, Jensen. He's picked out as the best 4.5 at the beginning of the season, I think, by loads, and
yeah,
obviously was injured to start, so we couldn't really start with him, but he's done really well. Did I click Arsenal? I think I've clicked everyone, haven't I, of relevance?
Yeah, anyone wants to see any FA Cup games? I mean, we will be tweeting out all the Premier League screenshots tomorrow morning for everyone to see that in depth.
Yeah, quite a few people were asking for the team sheets. They wanted to know who played and stuff, which is fair enough, I guess. I think that's everyone.
Okay, so they've done the schedule for the replays.
No, let's have a look at that now. Derby, did I click them already? I think I did.
So if you look at fixtures there.
Yeah, so for the replays, third round replays Wednesday the 16th, Villa versus Ipswich, and Derby versus Wimbledon.
Yeah, so that was the Leeds Derby game, meant to be on the same day, which has been now called off.
And then there's some replays here, which obviously don't affect not any Premier League teams. And the fourth round is on the 26th. We knew that already, right?
No, I mean, yeah. So that's the draw anyway. So maybe leave that up. Let's have a look at that. So, just Premier League against Premier League could affect things.
Yeah, Everton home to Bradford. You'd expect them to win it. They've lost most of their players, Bradford as well, in Carboni and Weatherall and stuff.
I mean, Bradford had a good result. Who they beat? I saw briefly
West Ham.
Yeah, well, West Ham. Yeah. Well, that's not a great result.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Away to a Premier League side, but yeah, West Ham. Fulham versus Newcastle then in the fourth round. That's obviously could go either way. I mean, that's the game we got this weekend, isn't it? On the blank.
Yeah.
So
same fixture.
Yeah, might have a good sighter on that one. And Leeds at home to Division 3. You'd expect them to breeze that one. Middlesbrough home to Southampton. You'd expect them to breeze that one. Chelsea away to Millwall, maybe a bit more tricky, and Charlton away to Rotherham. Again, maybe a little bit more tricky, but Charlton have been doing well this sim, so.
Yeah, and also not all the fourth round fixtures are there because still got the replays. So.
Yeah, right? They'll come across. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so if we just go to.
Oh, there's the fourth round there. The schedule. Go back again. So you can tell you like who Man U have got and stuff like that. So it's either or.
Where's Man U? West Brom or Portsmouth for Man U. Should be light work. Liverpool, Villa or Ipswich. I think that's everyone.
Good to see some non-league teams still in there.
Yeah, Margate is
still in the house.
Margate could end up playing Sunderland if they beat Crewe. Interesting. Right, so just to confirm on the Premier League fixtures then, we've obviously got this is the week upcoming now, but in terms of where the double's gone for Leeds,
just click through slowly, just have a look at the upcoming weeks as well.
So this is 22, right? And then this will be 23, which involves the doubles we know about, which are now just these games.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got 24. Which Leeds
Leeds still got the double in 24, so that's not going anywhere.
Yeah, 25, and then 26, which keen people will notice. Chelsea play 2 days apart here, as do Southampton, obviously.
Who does Southampton play on that Wednesday?
They play at home to Tottenham.
Oh, Tottenham then could go wild.
And then this is 27, where the Leeds Derby game has been put into at the moment. I mean, I don't know if the tactics guys, the schedule guys will know better than me whether it's likely to stay there, but that's where it is for the moment at least.
And that's 27.
And that's 27. So Leeds have now got a double in 27 at the moment.
I wonder if that does clash with any replays for the fourth round. Does it say the schedule of the FA Cup? I don't know if it will say the replay schedule there, unfortunately.
No, probably not. I mean, the guys will know already. I think Tala said that it can only go into 27 on the chat at some point, and he's good at fixtures, so I'd imagine it's pretty secure, but he'll probably be in the chat now, so they'll correct us if we're wrong. Oh, the schedule's here.
Yeah, I wouldn't say...
Where's the FA Cup? It won't do replays though, you're right, will it? No.
Because it sounds about like if there is a replay, I know Leeds have got Hull, Derby got to have the replay against Wimbledon, and then who have Derby got in the fourth round?
Derby have got, let me just go to Derby, it's probably the easiest way to find it.
Well, it won't come up with the fourth round yet because they've got replay.
Oh yeah, so they've still got the replay in Wimbledon.
But I don't know if it comes up on that midweek or not. I don't. Yeah, maybe other people won't know. So Tala's saying replays clash with game week 26.
Okay, so 26 could be blanks for some people then, depending on who goes through, I guess. So they're playing Arsenal Derby, so it's probably not looking good for them anyway to get through.
Okay, so yeah, James from Planet FPL saying Derby v Leeds in 27 should be a lock. Okay. So it's the 26 is where it could be another issue for fourth round replays. So depending on whether the fourth round draw and who you think has got tough fixtures, that could affect game week 26.
So that's 26 here on the midweek.
Yeah, that's the midweek. So that's where the replays will go.
Okay, so there could be that could be a good opportunity to wild card, free hit, you name it, whatever there as well.
Yeah,
potentially.
And that's the thing as well. We won't know until before game week 25 who have made it through and who's got a replay.
Right.
So that's going to be tough to work around because I'm sure there'll be some replays instead of those fixtures there. Pretty sure.
Almost certainly. It wouldn't be CM without a little bit of chaos though. So we'll just have to deal with it. We've got no other choice. Right, let's move on to the teams then quickly. Obviously the games are all on the same day, is that right? I'm pretty sure they're all on the same day, aren't they? We've only got these four. They're all on the 9th, and we're obviously on the 9th right now. Yeah,
just to mention as well, because I know that we the team leak came out today for Man U. Me and Luke don't know what's going to happen. Dave does, so Dave's not here tonight because he knows what's going to happen, but we have no idea about results, so we can give some advice.
And I never know until on the stream because obviously I'm playing the game. That would not work and would not be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we going? Arsenal. That's what we want to look at. I can't remember which ones of these are new. I'm pretty sure Luzhny was a new one, wasn't he? So he's out for a week with strained knee ligaments. 0-0. No one's. I don't think anyone's got Luzhny, but he won't be playing. We've obviously got quite a few people who can play at right back. Inamoto's still one day away, so he could play obviously. And Fraser won't be playing, so there's no point clicking him.
Van Bronckhorst still got 2 matches to go, or one match because the FA Cup. Yeah.
Okay, so so we'll miss Liverpool and then potentially be available for the double. Okay,
so with Arsenal, so they are playing this blank game week. Are there any players apart from defence or Henry that you go for? Any punts in midfield at all?
No.
Albertini on penalties? Any punt on that? No.
I mean, even if he gets a penalty, I mean, just look, he doesn't really do anything. He comes off early, he gets yellows, he's got high injury proneness. I think it would just be pure luck if you got points from him really at this stage.
There's no Arsenal midfielders really. I mean, it's away to Liverpool as well, so it's tough.
Yeah, that's a really tough game for them. In fact, Arsenal usually play really defensive when they play away to a top side. Obviously, not many teams in the league cause Arsenal to play that way. Basically, Man United are pretty much the only one, I think. Liverpool, obviously, as they're playing them, and anyone around the top 4 really, so Leeds, stuff like that. they're not particularly good in that matchup, so I wouldn't expect much from him in that game. But obviously we've seen Liverpool can be a bit up and down this sim, so you never know. And they've obviously always got Henry, so I suppose anything can happen. But it's not looking like a great game. But then obviously straight after that they've got a double involving Southampton, so a lot of people will be looking just to jump on early, especially with the Van Nistelrooy noise, just to go straight to Henry now, because although the game might not be great versus Liverpool, you're obviously saving a transfer which you inevitably have to do afterwards. If you go to say Shearer or someone else this week, you kind of book in that transfer in, and we know it's a dangerous game to do that. So you got that. Do you play the points right in front of you, or do you try and play it tactically?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Like I think you load up on Arsenal and get 3 assets in. I think you take Henry because Southampton at home next, and then Newcastle in the double. I think you've got a good double defence and Henry really, and load it up and see what they can do against Liverpool.
I mean,
if you're going that way.
Yeah, I'll be wildcarding 23, so I'll still be looking at Arsenal, still be looking at Seaman, Ashley Cole, Henry. I think they're probably the only 3. I mean, I suppose you could go with Sol Campbell. It's probably the only other one.
0.5 cheaper than Cole, but I think you still want Cole really over Campbell.
Probably. He's really young in the game and he starts to get better and better, so you'd only imagine in these last few weeks he upped his performance a little bit.
Could Lauren be a shout? I mean, he sometimes plays right mid as well.
I mean, he could be, yeah. It's surprising me that he keeps playing there. It's, again, one of those things where when I look at my sims and data, which is what I base most of my decisions off, he's not really a good option because he's usually rotated with Lujny or Dixon, whoever, at right back and doesn't really play right wing. But in this sim, he's consistently playing right wing. So if you've got a defender out of position, he's always of interest, right? So, yeah, I can see it. I can see why people would want to do that.
Like, if you've got a keeper already and you want to get a defender in, you've got Cole, go Lauren as a double defence.
Yeah, you just had to be prepared. He might not play both of them, but at the end of the day, he could get a goal in one of them and cover it quite easily, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dublin news then we already knew for Villa. He's out for a month. Gutted, because I thought he would end up scoring quite a few goals since he came into the team, but I mean, the season's still got a way to go, hasn't it? So I suppose he will obviously still come back in for the run.
Come back. Well, unless Angel starts hitting form, which could happen.
Yeah, although the game doesn't really like the form thing. He probably just bin him straight out. Doesn't even matter how well he's done. But he is a good player in this game, as you can see. His attributes are good. His morale's not even dipped despite him not playing. So he could easily come in and do well, I think. The problem is it's not really kind to them around the double schedule at the moment. I don't think anyone will be going there yet.
No.
And there's not really anything else to say, really. Staunton's still a few days away with a twisted knee. Hadji's 2 months. And Taylor's 2 weeks. Melberg suspended. 2-match English ban, a red card.
He got a red card.
Oh, right. Must have been.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was against, but
oh yeah, in the league.
Liverpool was it or something?
Yeah, it was in the league, wasn't it? It wasn't just then that he did it. It must be because it's 2 weeks before it.
Yeah, it was league. Yeah, it's league. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it.
Not much to say there, really.
No. Blackburn. Andrew Bell. Good news, everyone. No, he's out for 10 days. Bless him. And Mark Hughes is still out a week with his chest injury, but everyone else is perfect condition for Blackburn. And have they got a double? I'm confused now. Or did they have a double and now it's been taken away?
So the blank's coming up now on the 9th. They're not playing in that, and they haven't got a double now.
Yeah, at one point I thought they had a double, but I think it must have got taken away from them then. That's about it for Blackburn. Not much point spending.
It's a double 24. Who Leeds
it's
playing?
24, I think it is. That's it. I think you're right. I think they're pretty sure they got a double in 24 because a lot of people were talking about 2 guy for the double, which obviously he's continued to be a pretty good pick. So
it is Leeds. Yes, it still Leeds Blackburn in 24, isn't it? Just double check that. It's Leeds Blackburn, right?
Yeah, let's go back to. Yeah, so Wednesday 23rd. So they play Villa away and Leeds away. Not the best games, but...
So, I mean, if you work on 23, Blackburn now becomes... Or do you just try for that one game we can take a punt on someone?
I mean, you could have... The only ones I'd consider would probably be 2 guy maybe for that double ahead. Not the best games, and they probably play that silly formation, but also Weatherall maybe on your bench as a 4.5 until those games is an option. Lasso can be really, really good in this game, and he's just... not done anything at all really. I think it's because he's playing wing back. He actually plays really well at full back. Obviously, they don't play fullbacks that often. They just play it in the away formation rather than at home, which is annoying.
Yeah. Dave Perrin's in the chat. Evening, guys. I wonder how it is for him watching this.
I can't actually see the chat. I'm like Dave, so I'm blind. I'm an honorary Dave.
Yeah.
With no beard.
Yeah, that's kind of a standard thing. You got to have a beard for this chat.
Well, a little bit for me. Gardner, mate, your broski's almost there.
Oh, 1 week. Come on, mate. Come on.
That reserve game after 1 week of action.
Yeah.
Still got his 20 for pace and dribbling with one leg.
What are their fixtures like? Because when he comes back, you can definitely get on him. And I'm sure they've got a few good home games coming up.
Home to Liverpool, Fulham, Ipswich, Man United. That's not great.
Maybe not, no.
Chelsea, no, the home games aren't that good. They've got alright away ones though. Southampton, that's not a bad game.
Gardner's an option. Just wait, see what he does. Make sure he's 100% fit. And
Rod Wallace has broken his toe. So many toes getting damaged. So many arms getting gashed, legs getting gashed, and toes getting broken and stubbed. Poor lads. So he is out for 10 days, and Maddison is suspended for 1 game. He is 36 years old, Hendry, but he's 100% every single, well, 97% every single week. And the minivan this story's gone a little bit off the last couple, but actually
no,
league game.
only one game, only one.
Yeah, 1 league game. That's it for them, isn't it? Let's move on. Charlton. Paul Smith, no one cares about him. Paul Robson, no one cares about him. And John Robinson, he's a few days away, so he could come back in at some point.
Not many options for Charlton, really, unless you've got
I think
on the bench
options. Yeah, and Wilcox is still a potential starter. Wilcox is still done really well, to be honest. I mean, I know they're not the best stats, but when you look at his value for 5.5, and then you look at some of the midfielders, I mean, they're at 7, 8, 9 million. They probably got similar returns.
Yeah.
It's just a joke, really.
I mean, cheap midfielders doing fine, really. Save midfield and then spend big in defence and attack, really. Yeah. Definitely looking like the way to go.
He's got really high injury proneness, Wilcox, but I think he's played every game since he's come in, so
he's due an injury.
He should be, but it's not happening, is it? It's not even been a hint. And Jensen, we've already mentioned him. I think that's it. Let's move on. Again, we're looking good so far. The injuries were kind to us last week, and they're kind at the moment. Desai, still a week to go. Di Matteo still 2 months, and Dallabona is still a month. Everyone else is at 100%. Hasselbank's still slightly upset.
Yeah, not getting any game at all.
No.
Expecting transfer list soon, and then
quite possibly. Yeah. They've taken Bangzola again back up front, so it's not looking good for him, is it? Ferreira still thinking of moving clubs as well now. But yeah, that's about it. John Terry's the one you want to go to there, I think. I don't think you can really look at anyone else.
What are their fixtures like, Chelsea? Because they haven't got a double or not paying the blank at all.
West Ham.
They're struggling. Yeah.
Arsenal, Southampton, Leicester. I mean, there's some really good home games there. Away to Charlton, Derby home. They've got a nice run. So when I wildcard in 23, I probably will have John Terry on my team, I think.
I think that's fair enough, definitely, with those fixtures, yeah.
Yeah, and I still think that come the end of the season that they're going to have at least got to here and started getting some clean sheets. I would have thought. Can you hear that really annoying noise outside my window, by the way? Do I need to close it?
Is that a dog, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I can just about hear it.
Derby, Ravanelli's on 68%. He's been reborn. He was on 5% before, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So he's found some energy from somewhere. But not quite enough to play, probably, because usually it's 70% that generally is the cut-off. So I'd be surprised if he played. And obviously if he does, he's probably going to be getting subbed off early anyway. In fact, they're not playing this week, are they? What am I talking about?
They're not playing the blank. No.
No, so it'll be 100% by the time the games come across. And that's it. There's nothing else to speak of about them really. Aranio's still 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
That's it. You have to stop me when there's been any signings because I don't know them.
Well, we're getting to Kim Källström. That's coming up.
Okay.
I'll stop you there. Yeah.
Big Dunk still 3 months. Chadwick doesn't play. Gascoigne, few days.
He's back. Gazza's back.
Yeah. With an extra couple of stone on, I think.
I'm sure he was out for 2 weeks. It's been like 4 weeks already. I'm sure.
It feels like it. Oh. But they haven't needed him. They've smashed it without him.
Yeah, the clean sheets. Unbelievable.
David Weir wants a new contract. That's why he's annoyed. But again, they're not playing. Fulham's injury woes still there.
Yeah, Fulham are playing the blank. This is...
Yes, they are. And is that a new one? Might be a new one.
Might be, yeah.
Because he's been playing right.
No, I don't think it is. Don't think he played the last game.
Okay. Well, in any case, he's 90% orange, so obviously could feature. Wadadu's 36% orange, so I can comfortably say he won't be playing. Coleman's still 2 months away with a broken leg, so I wouldn't suspect him to play. And Legwinski is out for 1 day with a bruised shin.
Hopefully he'll play through the pain barrier of that one.
Yeah, so he could play through the pain barrier with his bruised shin. Put a shin pad on, mate. McAnaspy is still a month away. He sometimes plays in place of Harley, doesn't he? Wherever Harley's gone, did he fit? Yeah, he's good to go for Harley.
So their fixture is against Newcastle in the blank. I mean, people might free hit with the Man U leak or looking to get players in. Is there anyone from Fulham? Think about getting him?
I really think there is. I think out of all the games, actually, the Fulham Newcastle game's got the potential to have the highest goals. I think that
I agree with that. Yeah.
If it had been...
unless Leeds smash West Ham.
Of course, that can happen as well. I mean, for both teams, I meant really. So I think either team could just go wild in this. I mean, that's a standard for Fulham anyway, to be fair. But Newcastle are kind of like a Fulham anyway most of the time in most teams. Score a lot, concede quite a bit. And obviously Fulham being at home, they'll just go for it. You would have thought. So I think that game's good for goals. So yeah, if you're free hitting, I would look to be getting some Fulham attackers for sure.
Yeah, stay clear of the defence then, because you think Newcastle going to score, wouldn't you?
Probably. I mean, if you've got Gomer, he's still likely to get a decent rating because he does that. But whether we keep a clean sheet, I'm not sure. The other one I kind of like is Betsy if he plays. I mean, if Corrigan's out, there's probably a reasonable chance he will play. And the thing with him is he takes penalties, as we know. Apparently, when he's on the pitch, so. You could get some points out of him, I think. But
I don't think I'd be going Fulham defence at all. I think you've got to look at the attackers. I think Saha's a gamble, so you can't go really Saha. So you've got to keep Malbronk, Lewis Beaumont, if you've got him, and Malbronk.
That's the thing I'd love to... I mean, I'm going to be taking Van Nistelrooy out for a 1 week punt, and I'll either go, like I think a lot of people are going, Ashley Cole or Dwight York, for some reason.
Andy Cole.
Yeah. Who did I say? Ashley Cole. Andy Cole, yeah. But the other alternatives, I think, because I've already got Shearer, obviously he'd be an option, but is Saha and Marley. I know they haven't done much, but because of the fixture at home to Newcastle, I just fancy them both. But, I mean, we just don't know Saha plays, right? So I guess the boring option is Marley. I would prefer this man, as everyone knows, but it'd be a massive punt as to whether he plays. He started 4 games in the league all season, so you'd have to get pretty lucky with that, I think. He did play last week in the Cup, but I don't know how much you can take from that.
Pep talk saying, why is Malbronk unhappy?
He always gets moody. Disappointed with the club's league position, lost confidence. Sometimes he wants new contracts.
Yeah, a few players for Fulham like that as well.
Yeah.
Unhappy.
He usually gets sold by the end of the season. Stolzers, see, that's the difference. Look at that. Willing to strive to help the club improve his league position. What a man.
That's what you want to see.
No one remembers you in real life, but in Champ Manager, you're great, mate. Yeah, I think
so Zaha or Marley for you? Take a punt?
I mean, for me personally, because I'm wild carding the next week, part of me's tempted just to go Saha, and if he doesn't play, he doesn't play. It's like a lot of people are going to be down some people, but if he does play, he could go wild. But I think that's probably a little bit too maverick. It's probably best just to go a bit safer with Marley. Having said that, Saha will probably play up front with Boa Morton now. Marley will be dropped. But that's just the way it is. I think Malbronk's good for a 1 week punt. Boa Morton. There's any of the Fulham midfielders really that play regularly.
And the thing is as well, if you're free hitting, you can definitely afford those two Fulham midfielders. So they're cheap enough.
I think you can afford it virtually any team. I mean, the only player who's expensive really that are playing this week is Viduka and Shearer are 10 million, and then obviously Henry's 13. Outside of that, there isn't really anyone that costs any money really that's playing.
True. Yeah. So budget's not a problem.
It's not really a problem. Ipswich, there's not really much to be said here. They're obviously playing this week, but all their main players are 100% fit. Obviously away to Man United, so how much you expect to get out of them? Probably the chances have gone up a little bit now. We've seen the Man United team, but they'll probably play that 5-3-2 formation away from home with a flat back five, which doesn't seem to do that well for them.
And defensive and hard and all that, will it?
Exactly. I mean, Hariderson still managed an 8 last week in that formation, if I remember rightly, so he's probably a best shout of getting some bonus if anyone's going to. Obviously, people will be playing him in that fixture because they probably won't have a choice. But aside from that, I think we'll probably get lucky to get any points out of anyone from Ipswich. I would have thought it's going to be one of those standard. Even though Man United's teams, obviously, pretty much their B team, it's just all to do with the mentality. Again, they probably won't even try to attack. So it will just be you would have thought a comfortable sort of 2-0 Man United or something on paper at least.
Yeah, another cruise victory you'd expect.
Mm-hmm. Right. Who are we on? Leeds. And there's a little bit of news here. Obviously,
there's a couple of injuries, isn't there? Well, Bridges you've mentioned.
Yeah, Bridges we've mentioned, but a lot of people who have got Mr. Robbie Keane.
It's not nice at all.
So one of those dribbles where he was going around people for fun, someone's just clocked him straight in the jaw, and he's 90% an orange. So
does that mean Alan Smith plays?
That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, he could play because he's 90% orange, but Alan Smith is there. Obviously, got some great attributes, can do really, really well. So if you're on free hit and stuff, is he suddenly an option? I mean, you'd expect Viduka will play. Where is he? He's 100%. I think James was saying about he was worried about on his at Planet FPL stream. He was a bit worried about Viduka not playing.
I think he's nailed now. The Bridges injury and the Keane.
I mean, it could happen because he's home to West Ham, but I mean, I see no reason. They're not Man United, not doing it at the rate Man United are doing it. So I would have thought it'll be him, and then either Keane plays injured or they play Smith, or they don't really have any other options up front. So he suddenly becomes a reasonable punt, I think. Well, more than a reasonable punt.
If they do start Keane, he's likely to come off, definitely.
There is that, yeah. I mean, they could play Keane in midfield like they did in this game. They played Keane here, and they played Bridges, who obviously got injured, so that's another option open to them.
And it makes them with the Decor injury as well, it makes the McPhail an even stronger punt to play.
And Baka, who was eyeing up before this game, I think Baka could do well. Decor's out, Bowie's out, obviously. Batty's injured, 42%, so he shouldn't play. So you'd imagine in centre midfield, you potentially get McPhail and Baka in centre midfield.
Yeah, Mabry right.
Yeah, Mabry could be on the right. Or McPhail left wing, but no, Kuhl's back, isn't he? You'd expect Kuhl to play.
So who would your three be for Leeds? I mean, because everyone's going to go triple Leeds against West Ham at home, and probably Viduka captain.
Well, if you're on a free hit?
Yeah, if you're on a free hit this week.
I suppose you just have to go with Viduka, Hart, and then it's take your pick. I mean, McPhail's been excellent. I'd be tempted to even go McPhail over Kuhl just because he's been so good. But money no object. You'd expect this guy to come good. I mean,
I'm still expecting it.
This is the thing with Kuhl. When I did my Sims of the preseason, I liked him as a pick and as a player in the game when you actually play it. And across multiple Sims, he usually plays nearly every game and gets quite high average ratings. He never really was that good for goals. He doesn't really have that many good goal scoring seasons. But he does get quite a lot of assists. And his main skill is obviously dribbling past people for fun. He occasionally gets double figures for goals though, and it was just more that he plays every week, so he's like a good pick. But he's not even been playing every week for some reason, has he? He's missed a few, but then he's obviously had injuries as well, so I don't really know what's going on with him, to be fair.
Yeah, I like Michael Smith's comment in the chat saying keen to score and do the Wayne Rooney celebration. That's his tip for the week. You know, where Rooney gets knocked out with a bruised jaw.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, except his jaw might fall off if he does that.
And then get subbed.
Yeah. I mean, I captained Viduka the other day when he was orange flagged and he came off. So, I mean, a lot of people have actually, on that week, they took out Viduka because they thought he might not play to put in Keane, who then, I don't think, obviously didn't match Viduka that week. He then did okay this week with the 2 assists, was it? Did he get 2 assists this week?
Yeah, 2 assists, yeah.
Yeah, so they kind of got a little bit of recuperance from that, and then obviously this week they're now in a bad position again, so it's really not worked out taking Viduka for King, really. Unless he plays and does well again, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see any other captain this week, really. I mean, you got York and Cole, you don't want to touch York. Viduka captain is going to be very high, isn't it?
Yeah, I would have thought it would be Van Nistelrooy levels.
Shearer's an option.
Shearer's an option. He's away though, so kind of instantly puts me off a little bit. It's definitely an option though. But yeah, I mean, Viduka's just so plainly obvious. Hart. Is this the week he gets his penalty, assist, and clean sheet? There's him.
I know. Earlier in the season as well, people were saying, "Oh, I'll go Hart captain for the double game week." Obviously, that's not happening now, but you'd expect a clean sheet against West Ham, and he could get an attacking return, so it could be. Yeah, why not?
It's the problem at the moment. Anytime anyone goes away from either Viduka or Van Nistelrooy, or even if they get that bit wrong, they end up getting really punished at the moment. I can speak from experience on that.
Yeah. Mac in the chat saying 2 hat-tricks away to Fulham so far, so why not another hat-trick for sure?
Yeah, that's fair enough. They're just so leaky, Fulham.
Because they're playing attacking at home, so...
Yeah. The thing is, we haven't got a very good version of Bobby Robson in our sim. Sometimes he goes really attacking away from home. They'll probably play on normal mentality, I think. I'm pretty sure. So it's not as good as it could be, but their defence is so ravaged, you'd expect them to concede a few. I think I've run 20 sims, actually, which I've got in that I did before of that game, and out of 20 sims, Fulham kept 0 clean sheets. So if that answers that.
Yeah, Brian, your happy birthday as well, saying this game week falls on my birthday, so I know York will give me the best present.
He's going York, what a guy. I so want that guy to score. That's going to be the best moment of the whole season, I think. It's
going to go mental, yeah. We got a gift lined up.
Oh, really? Nice.
No, I don't know. Just this mega gift, yeah.
Surely it will happen at some point. The thing is, he's actually scored, I think, in the cups and stuff. I think. Yeah,
I hope it's a goal rather than an assist first. You just want him to score. It's going to go mental once he scores.
Score 4 or something in a game. That'd be crazy. Liverpool are, they speak for themselves. They obviously play this week, but they've only got Owen out for 3 weeks. Still on orange flags. Everyone else looks good.
Yeah.
You still want?
I'd expect Arsenal to probably score, but so who do you go for Liverpool wise? If you're free hitting, I wouldn't touch Heskey really. There's other strikers that are better. Fowler, no, I wouldn't touch Fowler either.
I wouldn't touch Heskey on a free hit, but I think he was good a couple of weeks ago to play these games, play the blank, play the double, and he can still do okay. But like you say, he's hardly prolific. So
yeah, if you're free hitting, I think Berger's not bad for free hit.
Yeah, 6 goals in 9.
I wouldn't go overboard with Liverpool because Arsenal.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? If Murphy plays, he could be on pens.
Yeah, Murphy's 5.5 as well, so he's a decent price.
I still really like Hippier and Huncho just because they usually get bonus, and I think now we've kind of been robbed of them two as a pairing for a lot of the season. Either they've just not played, injuries, red cards. I think once those two come back, they've still got really high average ratings, and Liverpool you'd expect for the season to still come out at the end having had at least between 10-15 clean sheets. I would have thought, but so I still think they're reasonable value. It's just when they're 6 million, and you've got the likes of Horiderson, it's kind of annoying. But yeah, I think that's it. And then we've got these boys who we know.
Yeah, so Bartes suspended. That is that 2 games left? Bartes.
2-match ban. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who does he actually miss? Yeah, so Liverpool away, which I think Keane misses as well, right? So that could be a tough game for Man United. That. I mean, that's another reason why Heskey's all right. If you're not free hitting or wild carding, his double suddenly not that bad. Heskey, I think it looks bad on paper, but although you could argue having no Bartes in goal is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Although this is the guy that's playing. He's only got 12 for handling, which isn't fantastic.
I think Ipswich will score. I think they will get a chance and probably score. That's my punt to say.
Ipswich will score?
Yeah, I do.
I'd really be upset about that because I've got this man.
Dennis plays well. That's a great pick, mate. You've done really well there.
Yeah, I wish I'd gone Phil Neville though. I think he scored twice and played all 3, so he would have actually been the better one. But I just didn't think he was going to be as reliable to play all 3.
So with Leal in goal, I don't think I'd go double United defence. I'd have 1, definitely. I don't think I'd go for 2.
I mean, how many shots are they going to have?
2 or 3. I think they'll probably score against Leal.
Yeah, I mean, none of the teams really look that good for clean sheets this week. That's the thing. I think of all of them, I still would probably have Man United at the top. But as we know, clean sheets aren't really the thing you want to chase in this game most of the time. It's usually bonus. So who's going to?
So I think I prefer the Leeds double rather than United double.
Oh, what? Okay. Yeah, so go Hart and Radaby or something like that.
Yeah.
Hart and Rio. Yeah, okay, I can see that. But then you're missing out on McPhail or Kuehl or something, or with Viduka.
True. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's tricky. I don't know. I mean, all these guys are ready to go. By the way, obviously there was no reason for injury or condition that they didn't play. Beckham is 90% with a few days to go, and obviously he's starting, so anything could happen with him. Sylvester is also playing, is that right? Is he in the starting lineup? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Sylvester starts as well.
Yeah, so we've still got 10 days to go on a twisted ankle. I mean, he would be the obvious pick for bonus and everything else, but I assume he's playing centre back because Owen's playing, so that would be Owen left back, Sylvester centre back. So a strange one to play an injured centre back when they could literally have picked anyone else, but that's this game in a nutshell. Because if he gets injured, then they lost him for some
it's horrible. Yeah.
And I think someone asked me to look at Laurent Blanc or discuss Laurent Blanc actually because he missed the last couple of games, saying has he just dropped permanently now? I don't think he's dropped permanently now. I just think Laurent Blanc before the season starts usually plays about 31 games a season. Sometimes it's a little bit more. He's 36 years old. I would think he'll come back into the team, and it's just reputation, combination of low condition, reputation, all those various factors. Man United have got a massive squad. They try to keep everyone happy, but I mean, come the end of the season, I expect it'll be around the 30 games played mark, unless they sign anyone.
Mm-hmm. Auto-Recluse saying is Rude and Veron on the bench, but the bench hasn't been leaked. It's just the starting lineup.
Right, okay. Yeah, that's a good question, but usually when they do this, as we've seen from the other rep games, they don't put these people on the bench. It's a full rest, so I'd be surprised if they're on the bench. I think you'd be fairly confident they're not. In fact, Van Nistelrooy, over across about 20 sims, I think I got him coming on as a sub maybe 2 or 3 times across 20 sims, like 30 plus games every time. It virtually never happened, so you'd have to get incredibly unlucky for that to happen, I think.
Yeah.
Or lucky.
Also, we got Roy Carroll news as well from United.
Oh, big news.
He's gone to Norwich. Not Spurs.
Yeah, he wasn't even playing. Anyway, fun fact, by the way, Scala checked this guy out. Apparently his stats are so random that sometimes he's a left back. So there you
go. No way.
Yeah.
I love that. What goalkeeper left back or just
no, just left back. Even his position is random. So he ended up being a goalkeeper worthy of Man United apparently in this sim, but other times.
And now he's playing. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean Van der Haal's decent, right?
Yeah, he's alright. I don't know what they're up to. It's again the reputation boost. I think they bought him and it's boosted his reputation, so they're putting him in. But he could have got a random decent potential ability. I don't know if it's set or not.
FPL Graphics saying if you guys had to choose 3 Liverpool and 3 Newcastle for bench boost 23, who would you choose out of Newcastle and Liverpool if you had to?
You go first.
3 Liverpool.
You have to put a gun to my head.
I think I'd go Hippier, Berger, Litmanen. No, I don't know. Heskey. And then Newcastle, Dyer, Shearer. Steve Chettle.
Yeah, I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? Trying to pick 3 from each of them. I mean, I'd have Hippier and Huncho from Liverpool. I wouldn't have a third, really, unless it was just Biscan on my bench, really. I mean, Heskey's a good pick from them, but then you're taking away all the other forwards, so I wouldn't have that. And then for Newcastle, I think you'd have Basidas, Shearer, and the third one, it'd have to be gun to the head again. I'd consider someone like Bernard or Elliott just on the off chance that he plays left wing and can get a few assists, but probably wouldn't play both the games.
It's not going to happen, though, is it?
Probably not, no. Middlesbrough obviously don't play this week, but everyone's at 100%. Ekiog's 1 yellow card away from getting a ban. And he's still not gone to any team. And I think that's it, isn't it? Boxic was on what, 96%? Obviously they'll
yeah, he's never completely fit.
I think he was last week by some sort of random fluke. Newcastle.
Newcastle's for me is the most interesting one. Newcastle because of the blank they're playing in, and then a good double, decent double.
Yeah, and both their wingers are 3 weeks away. But interesting, Robert's on 90% here. So, I mean, considering how desperate they're probably going to be to play the likes of him, he might come back in actually at some point. I mean, technically he could play this week, but I'd expect to see him like Beckham probably coming in the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Playing injured again and running that gauntlet.
Like you say, Bastas is a good pick. If you think budget's no option, then yeah, get him in.
Yeah, I mean, apart from that week he missed the other time, he's played every other minute, hasn't he? So, if nothing else, you know that he's going to play, and him and Dyer are easily their standout midfielder picks. Dyer's attributes are absolutely fantastic. I mean, look at them. He's a really, really good player in this game.
I love Kieran Dyer in this game. I'm always.
It's just not good.
Yeah, I think Dyer's going to be my pick of the week. Like, if you're not free hitting, if you're looking to buy a player for this blank and then the upcoming double, I think Dyer's going to do pretty well in the next 3 games.
I mean, if you want to take a punt anywhere, it has to be midfield, right? You've got nothing to lose pretty much in midfield. It's like even the best picks, Salakovic, Johnston, people like that just aren't doing anything. Veron.
No, yeah.
So why even worry about it? I think if you're on free hit, you can probably have a little bit of fun with it. And
his average rating is great. A lot of time as well.
I'm surprised it's only 3 goals. I mean, he usually gets quite a lot of assists as well. And he gets put on the right wing where he's generally actually really good as well, which obviously doesn't usually happen if Solano's not injured. So I just don't understand why he's not been able to get him. I suppose part of it's been the fact Shearer's been out so much and he's been crossing the ball to chumps most of the time.
Ole, yeah.
Yeah. The court started to do well recently. I still think he's decent at 7 million. Southampton.
Saints. Ugh.
Yeah. Svensson obviously got those 2 goals in the cup and a penalty, so looks to have hit some goal scoring form, but the rest of the team are not really doing much, are they? And obviously they're not playing this week. Davies is a few days away, Draper's a week away, and Dodd's a week away.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to be getting anyone from these guys. I mean, this is basically the only guy you consider just because he gets that high average rating, but you're going to be shipping 3 or 4 goals to probably take some minus points along with it every week. That's the problem.
So score 0, then maybe get 1 bonus point. Great.
Yeah. He gets man of the match or 2 bonus points, but obviously it equals out and he's on 2 or 1 points anyway. Yeah. It's not great. Sullivan's out for 10 days with a broken toe again. The boots these guys are wearing. And
Seal's not done much.
No, he keeps getting. Well, he was getting randomly rotated every now and then with Bart Williams, and even Sibon went right wing once, I think. 5 yellow cards means 1 match ban for Swartz just after we had a good game. Yeah, it was in the league, wasn't it? Got man of the match.
Yeah.
But everyone else is good. They obviously won't be playing. Tottenham Hotspur.
Keeper dilemma.
Yes.
Totas on.
I mean, Jalawi already went there, played a 5, and they bought on Kelly for a 5.
And they still haven't bought anyone yet, so.
No.
I mean, they're not playing this blank, so hopefully they might try and sign someone.
I think they've got to try. They were interested in that. I mean, he's not any good either. But Peggy from Liverpool, but whether they get him or not. 10 days for Poyet. Obviously, he's been a very good pick when he's played. Attributes are still great, so I think he's one to look out for when he comes back, especially with no other midfielders doing anything. I mean, when you look at Selakovic, who I've had for 8 million the whole season, and considering he doesn't even show you the 2 missed penalties, which give you minus points as well, so you may as well take away like a couple of those assists. That's pretty dreadful for a CM legend.
Yeah.
You know, I could have had Poyet for less money, 1.5 less, and done a lot better. Depressing. Doherty's out for a month still, and he's the defender striker that is really annoying when he comes back, because occasionally he will play up front. I see it all the time. You'll just see him randomly start playing up front, which is mental, but it happens. I think he's a 4.5 defender, so it'll be interesting if he starts playing a lot of games up front. He could break the game, but
horrendous. Yeah.
I don't think he'll be scoring much anyway. Richards is still 2 months.
Chris Hermitage in the chat saying Kallstrom to West Ham.
Kallstrom to West Ham.
That's the only team left, right? So surely Kallstrom's gone to West Ham.
What does that mean for Joe Cole? Out to the left wing?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Oh, they haven't signed him. Oh.
No, because Andy's a massive troll. Because I got excited by that as well.
Yeah, apologies, guys. Apologies. It's good to see he's progressed as a player, though. He's gone to Parma, so that's good. That's nice.
He's gone to Parma, which does happen quite a lot, to be fair. Yeah, bit of a legend is Kim Kallstrom.
His career's progressing, so we should be happy about that.
Happy to stay at the club. I should think so, mate. Come from like basically non-league. I think their football's non-league, isn't it, at the time in Sweden?
Yeah, I think so.
It pretty much is, yeah.
And that money saved their club as well for Hakim, so I'm pleased about that transfer.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, to be fair. West Ham aren't playing, are they? No, yes they are. They're playing away to Leeds, but no one's going to be buying any of their players. If you buy a West Ham player on this free hit and you do well from them, then please let me know, because you are my hero. I don't know how you'll have managed to do that. I mean, this is probably the only guy you consider, right?
Who would you go as like a not Joe Cole or DeCano or Defoe or someone? Who would you go for like a big punt for this game against Leeds?
I think again, if you're going to take a punt, it has to be in midfield. I certainly wouldn't be wasting a striker slot, and I mean, I suppose you could go Repka just on the hope that he gets a whole load of tackles. But apart from that, I wouldn't want a West Ham defender. So it literally just defaults to Joe Cole. There's like no other person that you could possibly pick. Courtois might play left wing, but he's been mostly dreadful. So him at a push.
So, I'm getting a lot of abuse in the chat as well, saying as soon as Andy says anything, it can't be true. There's a dark place where Andy goes to from time to time. Says Heavy Finger 7. I'm just making everyone here to think the Kim Kallstrom news. Otherwise, we switched off about half an hour ago, right?
There's all these people who love CM, love Kim Kallstrom. We're so looking forward to having an option again in midfield where we've had a dearth of options. And he drops that bombshell on us.
I'm playing the double bluff though, so when a big player does land, you won't believe me, then you'll see it. So.
Yeah. Except we won't come into the chat this time. It'll be like the boy who cried wolf. We'll just let you go on your own or get eaten savage by wolves.
Cannavaro's gone to Man U. Come on, join me.
Yeah, no one shows up. It'll serve you right.
Yeah.
So I think that's all the teams then, isn't it? I don't think there's anything else we can look at really. We've got.
No, I mean, what's your strategy for the upcoming weeks?
So I'm in. Oh, just lost my sound. Gonna need that. I'd always planned to dead end into. I was going to wildcard 23 regardless of what doubles there were. I was pretty confident they'd all be on because I didn't think there's not many draws in this game. But even if one went off like it has, I thought it would be okay week to wildcard. So I decided I was going to do that about 4 weeks ago, I think. So every transfer I've been making has been towards this blank. Now I only have one Man United, and I put a second one in. I had the money for Veron at all times. I was really apprehensive to do it because I thought there's 3 rep 12 games in a row, and I didn't know whether I wanted him, and I got lucky because obviously he's done nothing and then he's not ended up playing. So I'm in a reasonable position, so I can take a -4 and get 11 players. So I've got 9 at the moment if I take Van Nistelrooy out.
Nice,
I've got 9.
okay.
So I can get 2 punts, one up front, and then I'll take out Johnston or Slakovic for a midfielder. Probably looking at either, I've already got Shearer, so probably looking at either Marley, like I said, or Saha, because I like Fulham for scoring goals at home. And then in midfield, I'm not sure. I might go Basidas, I might go Baka, because I've got McPhail. I don't have Ian Hart, so I could do the punt in defence instead. I mean, it's home to West Ham, right? If he scores, gets a clean sheet or whatever, I think most people have got him, so I could get destroyed by that. So that's another option. But that's it. And then a wild card after that, and I'll probably pick loads of double players. And my decision will be whether to start with Viduka or not, because he's obviously home to West Ham. But I could go Henry for a double, Shearer for a double, and Rebrov for a double, which is a really good front line. But then obviously you're missing Viduka at home to Villa. Will he outscore one of the doubles? Probably.
Probably right.
So it's a decision. That's my main decision coming up.
Yeah, so man, I really like the free hit for this blank now. Now that we know the United lineup, so if you had 3 United that aren't playing, that puts you 3 down. I think the free hit's definitely viable if you still got it, especially for second half players as well. You can get the 3 United guys that are playing. That's an advantage. You can get 3 Leeds, and then just maybe a couple of Newcastle players, like you say.
Yeah.
Maybe one Fulham attacker. I think free hit's definitely viable. I think if you've got maybe 9 players and you can get to 10 or 11, you don't perhaps need to. But if you're down to 7 and you still got the free hit shit.
That's the thing. A lot of people, including me, use their free hit in the big double game week, the Matt Elliott week. So they're not in a position to do that. So I think you shouldn't worry too much, like you said, about going into the game week with about 9 players, 8 or 9. If you can get to 8, 9, 10 with maybe a hit, -4, -8, you might be okay, because you're probably going to lose out to the free hit teams. But there's not going to be too many of them, because a lot of them have used their chips, I think. So I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, but if you have got like 8, if you're transferring to get 8, and then you have a couple more that get rotated, for example.
Yeah, I mean,
and you're down to six players. I think that's why you might need to do the free hit if you got it.
Yeah, if you've got free hit, I think it's a no-brainer pretty much now. I mean, like you say, especially because you've got one lineup and you can pick 3 people if you want. I mean, Scholes and Andy Cole are on my list as well as options that I could look into as my 2 people to bring in.
As your dead ending,
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Wildcarding's trickier.
Yeah, wildcard as well. Wildcard's an interesting one. I think a lot of people will be wildcarding 23, but I think it's quite good to hold it if you can as well, because this game can throw up so much.
Yeah, there is that. There's also, if you wildcard, fortunately a lot of the teams who play here then obviously play in a double. But then you have to obviously consider all your other options for the double game week. Then there's another double game week after for Leeds again. Then there's another double game week 2 weeks later for Leeds. So there's a lot of things to think about, I think, if you're doing that.
Yeah. Interesting few weeks. Can you just have a quick look at league stats while we're here? Anything? So, like, are Leicester top for corners?
I think
is Dennis Wise an option?
7 goals from corners. He had 9 assists, Wise.
Wow, yeah.
So probably took all 7 of them. I mean, that's where the lottery aspect of this game can come in really highly on penalties, set pieces. Sometimes John Collins will get 20 assists in a season. I've seen him get 21 assists. And then I looked at it and it's because he got 13 assists from corners.
Who's taking Liverpool corners?
Who takes Liverpool corners? That is a very good point. Let me think. Well, they rotate so much, it's hard to think about it straight away. I mean, what's Gerrard's 7? What's Berger's? Berger's on 17. Could be him for set pieces.
Could be, Berger then, maybe.
We can go to the last match and have a look, actually. See. Indirect free kick was given. Doesn't even say. Could be Murphy. Problem is you don't know who's going to play. I think Berger would
Yeah.
probably be the safest option.
I mean, Murphy's not a bad shout if you're on a free hit. I think 5.5. Obviously, you have bench options if he doesn't play as well. So
yeah. What else did we want to look at? Teams. We do the whole split for the table. West Ham with 8 points at home all season.
Horrendous. They're down. James from Planet FPL saying anyone free hitting in 22 should seriously have a look and consider the problems of 26-27 because of the FA Cup fourth round. That could be an issue.
So he's saying you don't want to use your free hit. Well, you might not want to use it because you might need it later. Is that the general gist?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
that worries me as a person who doesn't have a free hit.
Also, can we say have a look at job security as well, please? That's from James as well.
Yeah, where do I go to for that again? I've forgotten. Job information. There it is.
Pompey looking for a manager. Oh. Tony Parks. Job on the line. I bet the 23rd or 24th Halifax.
Halifax, let's have a look.
Oh, the 22nd. Decent season. Could stay up.
In fact, Bricky asked me to look at where are Luton? Oh, 3rd division or 2nd division?
Yeah, 3rd division, yeah. Always do well. 100 points.
Yeah, they're not doing as well this time. Losing
Very bottom. Div 2.
Losing Emerson Boyce was all it took, was it? Yeah. Destroyed him. He's that key for him.
Watford coming up.
Man City. Yo-yoing. Is Dave actually playing the game, do you know, as Brighton, or is he just leaving it on holiday mode?
I think he dips in and out, maybe. Trying to keep him in the playoffs. So I'm not sure. I don't know.
That's a holiday team if I've ever seen it. Unless he's being the most boring manager of all time.
Bournemouth and Barry bottom of that league. Just have a quick look. No, they're not. Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, any other questions, guys, on the chat before we go?
Yeah, anything we've missed? Go to defenders, average rating. Yeah, just see if there's
any schedules at all. I mean, the TV for Premier League hasn't been announced yet, so I think it goes up to 27. That leads double. Doesn't go as far as that. European games aren't coming back yet. Internationals aren't around. Anurag asking how free hit works in the website. So just play it and your team comes back on the website, I believe.
I guess
I'll have to ask someone.
Yeah, if you do all your transfers, will it be like FPL where then you play your free hit and it will cancel the -4s or whatnot? I don't know because I already used mine.
Yeah, I think you just save the free hit first of all and then you can do transfers. But double check, don't do anything until we can tweet something out about that. James from Planet FPL saying, what's happening Tuesday? So Tuesday is James's stream, 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what he means.
No, I know what he means. I'll be doing the stream on Tuesday, so like the normal one on Wednesday, directly after James's stream. However, James is going to be joining me on that one because...
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, he's committed to the cause, but obviously we've got a bit of a... Well, we've got the blank weeks, haven't we? So there's only a few games. So as a result, James has come to make it a little bit more of an experience. So he'll be reacting live to all the stuff that comes out as well. So hopefully we have a absolute cluster for him to look at because that'll be hilarious.
Great. Nice.
So yeah, he'll be joining me.
Nice Godfrey saying, are we going to get all the player stats on the website? Again, website stuff, not my speciality, unfortunately.
The player stats obviously on Whitebeard's site. That's the place to go from. That's pretty much been that way all season, right? I mean,
I mean the FA Cup games, they'll be posted tomorrow on our official Twitter site, along with any injury news and stuff that we missed off today. So. Gary Smith saying hello, so good night, Gary. We're going to leave.
think that's it, isn't it? If there's no more questions, I can't think of anything. Oh, Uriah Rennie? You want to have a look at him quickly?
Yeah, Rennie watch. Haven't done that for a while.
16 games, 4 reds, 40. He's actually
40 yellows.
Yeah, 40 yellows in 16. Bless him.
It's insane. We need to do more of that Rennie watch. I'll have a look at that actually, because
I can't remember if it tells you who the referee will be for the upcoming game, or you just go to the game and then and then he is the ref.
Yeah, it doesn't.
That's
it
the
just says a
annoying
match
thing.
overview. So I don't know if you can see actually. Can you see?
I don't think you can. I think once you play the game, it tells you. So you go at the top corner, it tells you the details here, referee. But I don't think you know until that happens.
No, we have to. Yeah, we know afterwards, but I'll just look out for it if I can. Annie saying, "Can you show FA Cup lineup for Man U?"
Yeah. Full strength. Barthez was suspended. Beckham was injured. So they went full strength pretty much. If you count Dwight York as full strength, I think Man United do. Look at this. 2 goals in the cup, 7.75. An assist, not too bad. Continental, 2 goals, not great, but
it's fine. Yeah, brilliant.
It's all right. The league's just 7.19 up front of the man.
Never seen it like that. It's crazy.
I started with York because he was basically the best value in the game. I thought 7 million for a Man United forward. Thought he was heavily underpriced. How wrong I was.
Good shout from Pete Carter saying you could leak referees post running the sim. So
yeah, I mean you could do, but there's a moment you say Uriah Rennie's managing this game, I'm instantly scared for my life. Especially if I've got my captain playing in that game. Although it could work for you, I suppose, if he sends off 3 of the opponents rather than your captain. But I usually don't get that lucky.
Right, I think that's it. I'm going to go to bed. It's late.
It is late. Thank you, everyone.
Cheers, Luke. Much pleasure.
Cheers, Andy. And if I can work out to end the stream, I've got to do a Dave here, haven't I? Catch you on the next one, guys. Bye-bye.
Good night, guys.